There are many fighters in the UFC who have the correct size for the weight class, which has given them an advantage in defeating elite fighters in the division. However, there are some fighters who are small for the weight class, which hasn't stopped them from fighting the top fighters in their weight class. So here is 5 fighters who are small for the weight class. Number 5. Kelvin Gastelum currently fights in the UFC middleweight division and last defeated Vitor Belfort by TKO in the first round at UFC Final 106, but later it was changed to a no contest due to Kelvin Gastelum testing positive for marijuana. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and has spent majority of his young career in the welterweight division, where he had great success in defeating top fighters in the weight class, but would always have trouble making the 170-pound limit. He has said in the past that he wouldn't have success in the 185-pound division as the fighters in the weight class are too big for him, but that hasn't been the case so far, as he has dominantly defeated elite middleweights such as Tim Kennedy and Vitor Belfort. Number 4. Mauricio Shogun currently fights in the UFC light heavyweight division and last defeated Gian Vellante by TKO in the third round at UFC Final 106. Although he became the champion in the 205-pound division, he has had many ups and downs as he has struggled with fighters who are a lot bigger than him. He stands 6 feet 1 inches tall and has spent nearly all of his career in the light heavyweight division. He's on a 3-fight winning streak, and I believe the move down to the middleweight division would be a great move for him. He is a small light heavyweight, which definitely plays a factor in his fights. If he does make the move to the middleweight division, he will have opponents similar size to him, and I believe he will be very successful in this new division. Number 3. Chad Mendes currently fights in the UFC featherweight division and last lost to Frankie Edgar by knockout in the first round at the Ultimate Fighter 22 finale. He stands 5 feet 6 inches tall and has had great success in the 145-pound division, where he has challenged for the title a couple of times. Although his size hasn't given him any problems against his opponents, he is small in the weight class, and it will be interesting to see him compete in the bantamweight division, where I believe he has a really good chance of winning UFC gold. But the move down to the 135-pound division is very unlikely to happen, as both of his teammates, Cody Garbrandt, who is the current champion, and TJ Dillashaw, who is the former champion, are at the top of the division. Number 2. John Dodson currently fights in the UFC bantamweight division and last defeated Eddie Wineland by a unanimous decision at UFC Final 108. Since winning the Ultimate Fighter Season 14, he made the drop down to the flyweight division, where he was able to defeat high-level flyweights and challenged for the title twice. After being unable to capture the UFC flyweight title, he made the move back up to the bantamweight division, where he is still defeating top-ranked bantamweights. He stands 5 feet 3 inches tall and is very small for the weight class. He still has the tools to do whatever it takes to get the victory. Number 1. John Lineker currently fights in the UFC bantamweight division and last lost to TJ Dillashaw by a unanimous decision at UFC 207. He stands 5 feet 3 inches tall and has spent majority of his time fighting in the flyweight division, where he had a great power advantage over his opponents, but would always have trouble making the 125-pound limit. Since moving up to the bantamweight division, his power has transitioned well, where he has dominated top bantamweights with ease. Even with his power advantage, he is still very small in the weight class. Although he has had very good success in the 135-pound division so far, his size will always be an issue with fighting the elite of the division.